Greetings, everyone. It's Takayu, and I'm back for more tips. And today's tips are going to deal with how do I unblock myself from conscious elevation? What is holding me back? I have 7 common blocks that hold people from spiritually evolving. So, number 1, dive right in. The goddess, the god complex. We all know that. We all know that person, unless you're that person. Pride, getting completely wrapped up in being a goddess or a god and forgetting about the other half. We all need each other. Don't get overly egotistical both ways. We're coexisting in this physical plane. We have to treat each other as energy beings. We all have energy. We've all come from a source of energy. We cannot just negate the fact like, oh, I'm a goddess and you're beneath me, or vice versa. Oh, I'm a god and you're beneath me. Even if someone is not fully there mentally, psychologically, spiritually, there's still. Hey, I'm back. I had a little glitch in the matrix. Anyway, I'm back. So where was I? I was dealing with the goddess god complex. Getting completely wrapped up in being a goddess or god and forgetting about the other half. Okay. Yeah, so we all know that type of person, and we may be that type of person. And that basically deals with pride, because goddess energy is energy. No one owns it. God energy is energy. It is like a flowing stream of energy. Male and female, we all have access to it. We can all cultivate it. We are not better or lesser if we are aware of it. The energy is all around us. Places have feminine energy, masculine energy. It is all energy. So once you learn to accept energy for what it is, you can put the pride and the ego aside and realize that we're all connected in some form or fashion, whether we like it or not. Moving on to number 2. Angry woman, angry man syndrome. Yeah, we know that person too. Too busy, angry at life and what everyone is or is not doing to see their own faults. So here you are, you're trying to evolve spiritually, metaphysically, out of your rut of habits and faults, or you're trying to evolve, meaning gain power, because if you're stuck there, you probably haven't recognized all your faults. Being angry blocks you. It cuts your flow off. Sometimes anger, you can use anger in a righteous way. You can be angry for justice and fight for justice. But you have to decide, what are you using energy for? As before, it's a source of energy. Why are you angry? If you're just walking around angry at anything for no reason, with no purpose, then I'm pretty sure you're stuck in some rut. You have to identify your source of anger. Why are you angry? And if so, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to find a healthy outlet to channel that energy? Or are you just going to stagnate and continue to judge and be preachy and analyze everyone else while you're not evolving? So that's the angry woman / angry man syndrome. Holier than thou fanatic. Okay. I haven't read this in a while, but I'm laughing because I forgot I wrote this a while ago. But the holier than thou fanatic. Yes. And I'm guilty of some of these things too. I've been through them, and sometimes we go through them, get out, get back in them. Sometimes it's sort of like emotions. You go up and down. That's why you have to constantly evaluate yourself. So the holier than thou. That kind of stems in pride too. You've studied years and years. You've mastered Reiki. You've mastered herbal healing. You've read every metaphysical book. You've been in the Egyptian sciences. You got it all down pat. Now you're looking at Sally, Joe, Mo, or whoever it is, because they don't know what you know. And they're still living a little maybe regressed in certain areas that they're not aware of certain things. So now we're judging them. But remember, at some point you might have been them. And that will keep you too, because sometimes they may have some wisdom that you may not see because you're judging and you're overly thinking you know it all. Sometimes too much knowledge can block your elevation too, because everything is being overly dissected to the point where you're losing your intuition, your empathy, your feeling, your emotions. So that is holier than thou, fanatic. Fear of failure. Wanting to succeed, but too afraid of failing. So this person never tries, therefore they never learn from their mistakes. Fear of failure. Yeah, this is a common one, If you failed a couple times, and yeah, it hurts. They say you fall down, you get back up, but sometimes it's not that easy to get back up. So the failure sort of like paralyzes you, and you don't want to move forward. But failure is one of the greatest teachers. If we were taught from a young age that failure is your teacher, then we wouldn't be so afraid. Sometimes your inner self comes out and it wants you to do certain things, like maybe you're supposed to create something. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm almost done. Had another glitch. We're back on fear of failure. It's one of our best teachers. So I'm going to just end on that note that sometimes people are fearful of failing. And then on the flip side, number 5 is fear of success. Sometimes people are fearful of actually being successful, wanting to succeed, but really afraid of what changes must take place to be successful. You know what it takes to get to the next level of wherever evolutionary process you are struggling with, and the idea of actually getting over it is kind of frightening. Maybe it's because you realize you have to be a better person, a more disciplined person, a more responsible person. That's what's going to equal that success. And maybe you're fearful that you don't want to live up to that. Or can you live up to that? But fear of success, too, is another one that holds people back. Let's see. 6. The reverse: racism, sexism, or classism. Hate. This is feeling so victimized that when empowered, if not empowered, just criticizes. If empowered, this individual then becomes the oppressor, whether it be race versus race, sex versus sex, rich versus poor. Now, yeah, I've seen this in many aspects. I'll take the rich versus poor aspect. Like, say, if you're at a point where, because dealing with wealth and money is still a spiritual aspect, because it's the energy you're putting out is what's coming back. If you're attracting poverty, then you may be putting out poverty energy. So, in someone who is maybe poor in their thinking, will be stuck in the idea that someone who's richer in their thinking and enjoying more financial or monetary gains is selfish or somehow doing something evil. And the thought that of that person being selfish or evil causes them to put a block in between their poverty and the possibility of them gaining some form of wealth. So that is how it's reversed. It's not a differentiation as this one is evil, that one is good. It's a differentiation. If you make that evil, then you won't be able to get that thing. So That's how best example of rich versus poor, because I know a lot of people who want to get to a status of more financial stability are stuck with that idea because I think in their minds they believe something about it they have to sacrifice, something is wrong, or they have some judgment about that person who is living that successful, wealthy, or financially comfortable life that they wish they had. So as long as they believe that there's something wrong with that, they can never attain it. So anyway, okay, 7 is victim syndrome. Last but not least, poor me. Sadness or depression. This individual refuses to acknowledge that they are causing their own problems and continues to see the external world as the problem. I started well, this is what I personally done. When someone reflects something at me, sometimes it pisses me off. They'll tell me something about my character that I don't like or whatever. I have to really stop and reflect and be like, okay. And 9 times out of 10, or maybe 10 out of 10, I realize this is the universe speaking to me in some kind of way. It's something I am ignoring, something I didn't want to face. It comes back, hits you in the face by a family member, a mate, a child. Your children to do it quick. If you're not living up to stuff that you know you taught them, they'll be like, Mom, you're supposed to do blah, 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 blah. So it kind of comes back to bite you in the face. And even your mate will do it, or your husband or your wife. They'll point out stuff that you may, you need to do or struggling with, and you may not want to, or you have it completely gotten over. So the victim syndrome comes in is when you don't acknowledge it. And when you feel as though, the victim syndrome comes in when you feel as though they're causing you a problem and you haven't attracted that problem. And if someone is causing you a problem and you don't remove yourself from that situation, then you're still allowing it in some form. So don't be a victim. Don't get stuck in reverse racism, sexism, or classism. Don't be fearful of your own success. Don't be fearful of your own failure. They kind of go hand in hand. Put down the holier and thou staff. Release your anger and put down your complex of pride. And then you will open up a vast energy source that will allow you to evolve to that beautiful being that you came here to be. Thanks for watching. For more Takayu tips and DIY projects for better metaphysical living, subscribe to Takayu Temple TV. Thanks again. Have a sacred day, a great day,